I'm Stuart Cameron. Welcome to Friday's look at rugby. So Gala are still top of the Premiership table following their win at home to Stirling County last week with a bonus point. Melrose piled on the points against Curry at the Greenyards, but Hoyk slumped to their biggest defeat of the season at Glasgow Hawks. In National League One, Selkirk remained top after an impressive win over Watsonians. There was a draw for Kelso, who hosted Dundee, but Jed Forest and Peebles both lost. In National League 3, Hoyk YM drew 16-all to Murrayfield Wanderers. Berwick won in East League 1. St Boswell's thumped Earlston in Division 2, while Gala YM beat Walkerburn in the 3rd Division. Well, in today's programme, we hear from the Melrose, Hoyk and Gala camps ahead of their Premiership games tomorrow. Border League President Graham Lowe has a natter with me about brighter times ahead for the competition. But let's begin with a chat with Melrose favourite Scott Wight, who was announced as captain this week of the Scotland Sevens squad to start their IRB World Series campaign down under in Australia next weekend.
Well, Scott, first of all, many congratulations. Another accolade.
Yeah, delighted. You know, it's a great opportunity for me. You know, it's a big enough step pulling on the jersey and getting to play in the IRB circuit, but being asked to be captain, you know, it's another feather in the bow, they would say, but I'm really looking forward to it. We've had a great pre-season. Boys have worked really hard. Touch wood, we've not picked up many injuries, so, you know, the team's actually gelling together pretty well.
And still buzzing, of course, from the experience of the Commonwealth Games at Ibrox, which really galvanised everybody, isn't it? Got the players together, got the country together. And now, of course, this is the big step up, because in the past we haven't been that successful on the circuit, and now's the chance to do something about it.
Oh, obviously delighted to be involved in the Commonwealth Games as well. It was a great privilege. Great buzz, as you say. The atmosphere was electric, and you know, I think a lot of guys are still hurting. There was only maybe 4 Sevens guys picked in that initial squad that played in the Commonwealth Games, because they utilised Edinburgh and Glasgow boys at the pro level. So, you know, I think a lot of boys are still hurting in with the squad as well. So hopefully, you know, that drives us on to better things this year, and we can pick up a few really big results.
Now, of course, the Sevens squad itself, there's an awful lot of border interest in there. Callum McRae, of course. Kitty is now taken over from Stevie Gemmell and is installed as the new coach. But there's Gregor and Lewis Young in the squad. There's Mark Robertson, Damien Hoyland, Niall Godsmark, yourself. It's looking pretty good.
Well, from a borders aspect, yeah, delighted. You know, just as they say, boys have trained well. You know, we've taken our opportunities. There's been 2 tournaments in with pre-season, the FIRA tournaments, which are European teams, so they were in Manchester and Bucharest, and boys have fronted up and taken their chance under the new coach. And as you say, Kitty's came in, he's kept things pretty simple and basic in terms of how he's wanting things done, and boys have really bought into it.
And I must mention Lee Jones as well. I knew I'd forgotten somebody.
And
of course he'll bring a lot to the whole thing, because he holds the records now for the Commonwealth Games, most tries, doesn't he?
No, of course. You know, Jonesy speaks for himself. Every time he comes across, you know, he's at Glasgow, but he's coming across maybe a week, 2 weeks beforehand and stepping in the squad, and you know, it's like he's been there the whole time, really. You know, he comes in, he adds, you know, just his pace, his threat. You know, it's just a really good dynamic player, and he really brings us an extra threat on the pitch.
And of course, we mentioned about the borders, we joke about it as well, but in the past, of course, we've said, oh, they haven't done too well because there's not enough borderers in there. Now there is, so there's absolutely no excuse now.
Well, we'll just have to front up and see how it goes, won't we?
But Australia first up, of course, the Gold Coast. I don't think you've done it before, have you?
No. I came in it pretty late. My first tournament was Las Vegas last November, so it's all new for me as well.
But I mean, what an experience as well for, you know, to see the world literally, play the game and represent Scotland.
Oh, as you say, you know, it's something you grow up as a boy and you want to do for your life, and you know, to be given this opportunity to, as you say, travel the world, see these countries, but also doing it while playing rugby, you know, I couldn't ask for any more.
Congratulations to Scott and the bunch of borderers who head out next week to Australia. We wish them well. Now to a chat I had with Graham Lowe, new president of the Border League, who's determined to ensure that this year's competition is completed in full.
Yeah, that's right. You know, just at the end of last season, you know, that there was 1 or 2 games didn't get played, and we sort of discussed that, and we really wanted to make sure that the season started off with a good bang. And so, you know, first of all, we've got all the fixtures fixed out for the Border League matches this year. It's a league this year, which is slightly different. So you know, whoever's top of the league will win that after it's finished. Border Rugby has 2 fantastic brands in the Border League and the Kings of the Sevens. We've discussed that Booker Border League, and Bookers have been fantastic. They've come in there, they've got nice sponsorship. This year they come in with extra sponsorship with the Man of the Match prize now, Booker Man of the Match prize. But the other thing, the main thing was, the other one was the Kings of the Sevens. And I've been speaking to Phil McCarry of AMPM Events Catering for a few weeks, and we've had one or two things that would sort of get ironed out. He's come on board and he's put in a substantial investment into that, and so it's going to be known as the AMPM Events Catering Kings of the Sevens. So no, I'm really delighted that Phil's on board with that.
Well, it certainly seems you've made your mark as well, because obviously, I mean, it's no exaggeration to say that the Border League itself was at a watershed. I mean, it could have gone either way. The Border League final, I think we've always enjoyed as a spectacle. It's always been well supported. And at Berwick, of course, last year when it was played just outside of the area, it was a phenomenal attendance, which took everyone by surprise, I think, and it showed how popular it was. But on this new format with the league system, I think a lot of people wanted it to get back to the fact that the winner of the Border League is the one who plays everybody else and wins.
It's funny because, you know, you think like the Premiership now, where it's going to playoffs and where you have a final and there's excitement with that. Berwick did a great job down there with the Melrose Gala game, so they did well. I probably, you know, if I'm going to be honest, I quite like a final, but you know, we've gone with the league, and that's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
Graham Lowe. Well, let's have a look at tomorrow's fixtures. In the Premiership, it's all about Hawick v Melrose at Mansfield Park. Hawick have made some changes following last week's heavy defeat at Glasgow Hawks, while champions Melrose are looking for 3 wins in a row. Let's hear first from Melrose head coach John Dalziel.
Now, Hawick, of course, have had a very good start to the season in the 4 matches. Although they only won 1, they got to within 7 points of the other 3. And then they went to Glasgow Hawks and lost 43-10, which I think surprised everybody, particularly after Melrose going to Glasgow Hawks and winning. But, of course, you know, you won't be underestimating Hawick. You never do. It's a border derby, and, you know, they'll be back for this one.
Oh, definitely. And I think we've followed Hawick's results. Obviously, I'm friendly with Nikki Walker and guys like that I've played with. And you know, they've done a great job there and they've rejuvenated Hawick. I think everybody in the Borders has been waiting for that to happen. Really, you know, a Hawick man back in charge there and really galvanising it. And we followed the results, and they've got a very young team as well, bit of experience at the top end there, and they've been so close getting that win at Ayr, and you know, they played some big teams and run them very close. And you know, sometimes when you put so much effort in there, it goes one way. That 1 week, you can fall off a wee bit, or you kick on. And I think they just had a little blip last week, and we wouldn't read anything into that at all. And we know that, you know, no better game than getting Melrose at home to focus their minds, and in turn that really focuses our mind to know the challenge that we'll have if we want to continue on our winning streak.
Now, I was there last year for the Mansfield Park game, and it was a cracker. I think Hawick got out the blocks very, very quickly, but then you took them in the second half. Fantastic game for the neutral, and one which hopefully will be as exciting this Saturday.
Yeah, and I'm sure it will. I mean, we've been blessed with the kind of Indian summer we've had, and the grounds are still really good. And you know, I know Hawick and Melrose are 2 teams that like to play rugby and like to throw the ball about. And you know, the coaching isn't always the most enjoyable time when your teams are doing that, because you get caught in these open games. But I think there's going to be a good spectacle, and I think for both teams, these are great games to be involved in. Potential banana skin for both teams. You know, we've got to cut each other's throat, unfortunately, when we've both trying to claw our way up into that, up the table. But you know, it's going to be a great game, and I think both teams will prepare it extra for this one.
Now, Austin Lockington, a hat-trick last week, playing at number 10.
Yeah, I think last week it suited. You know, playing against Curry, I felt they were a really big side that we didn't want to get brought into too big of a slog with them. We wanted the tempo of the game being straight up, and you know, it wasn't just Austin there. We changed both the half-backs there in 9 and 10, bringing Murdo back in there, and I thought that was probably the key difference to give obviously Austin that space that he had, and I thought the combination worked really well for that game. And the good thing is with Tommy Wilson, his versatility, went the wing and scored us 2 tries there, and he's been playing very well at 9 as well. So it was he's started 5-6 games in a row, and it was his turn to have a little rest. So we'll look at it this week, and we will change our game plan quite a bit for this weekend, because it will be a totally different match.
Hawick head coach and of course player Nikki Walker.
Yeah, it was a terrible performance last week up in Glasgow. You know, I think we're sort of beat before we even got off the bus. It's just one of those days, bad day at office, where you know everybody's not turned up, and it was a poor team performance. But there was a good honest session on Tuesday in the analysis and on the training field, and hopefully we can bounce back with a good performance against Melrose.
These are the games that you want to play in?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you know, it's a great game for the guys to bounce back in. You know, it's easy to get out for these border derbies, and you know, we've set the statement out at the start of the season that we want to be competing with the top teams in Scotland, and Melrose are certainly one of those. So hopefully we can put in a good performance and hopefully get a result.
So what about the team news?
Yeah, there was a few changes, obviously, with being a poor performance last week. Hopefully these guys can make a difference. It'll be good to have Gary Lowry back, who performed so well against Ayr a couple of weeks ago before getting injured, and Willie Blacklock will be starting in the park as well, so add a bit of bulk to our set piece, which is great. So yeah, obviously good to have the changes and freshen things up, and hopefully they'll instill some attitude into the team.
Melrose, of course, are putting Austin Lockington at fly half, which is going to be an interesting confrontation between him and Rory Hutton. Looking forward to that one.
Yes, obviously very two attacking minded tens there, and the pitch is great here at Mansfield at the moment. It's top of the ground stuff, so I think both sets of supporters will be in for an exciting match.
Top of the table, Gala will be travelling to Raeburn Place to take on bottom side Edinburgh Accies. But if you think it's going to be easy pickings, you can think again. Accies are without a win, but came so close to beating Heriots and Ayr in the past 2 weeks, so won't be underestimated. Gala wing Grant Somerville.
The Accies are no mugs. They're sitting at the bottom of the table, but they've definitely got good attacking players, and we need to make sure our defence is good. It's been good the last couple of weeks, so need to hold out and keep scoring the points.
The glitch really this season has been the match at Hawick. Obviously, you did manage to win. You got the 4 points, but obviously after that, it was important to get a good win over Stirling.
Yeah, absolutely. We've definitely played our get out of jail card. We can't afford to do that again. We went 17-3 up against Hawick, and then we switched off. And against teams, any team in the Premiership, they're going to come back at you. So we need to make sure we just keep going for the full 80 and see these games out.
So what's your own take on these strange results that we've seen? I mean, it really has been quite extraordinary, some of the results.
It's just showing the gaps getting closed every year. There's no bad team in the Premiership this season, and you've got to go out, and if you don't bring everything you've got and you don't perform, then top of the table could get beat by the bottom of the table. It's not going to be unlikely. So,
but certainly the confidence is there for this match at Raeburn Place.
We're feeling good, and we've got some boys back, so hopefully we can do a good one on Saturday.
In National League One, Selkirk are unbeaten, but a visit to Stuart's Melville at Inverleith is never easy. Jed Forest make a long trek to Aberdeen for their match, desperate for a win after 3 straight losses, while Kelso are away to Watsonians. Peebles are at home to Hillhead Jordan Hill, looking to get back to winning ways, while in National 3, Hawick YM travel to top of the table, unbeaten Dumfries. In East League One, it's Dunbar v Berwick, Hawick Quins against Hawick Lindeen in the derby, Langham v Linlithgow and Portobello v Duns. East League 2 sees Earlston away at unbeaten Highflyers Forester, who incidentally take on St Boswell's on October the 11th for what will be the game of the season in that league. Tomorrow, St Boswell's are going for their 27th win in a row in all competitions at home to Edinburgh Northern. In East League 3, Gala YM are away to Ross High, while Walkerburn host Broughton. Finally, to the Borders Semi-Junior League, Selkirk Youth take on Peebles Colts, Hawick Wanderers face Melrose Wasps, and Tynedale Colts are playing Hawick PSA. Jed Thistle, who have won all 6 games, top the table, but don't have a game tomorrow. Super Scoreboard Live is on air from 2 o'clock tomorrow with Keith Clarkson. The commentary game is Hawick against Melrose with Stuart McFarlane and Dale Clancy. The Sunday Rugby Roundup, that is moving to a new time of 8:30am. Well, I'll be back next Friday, but that's it for rugby for tonight.